Timbaland was getting dragged on Twitter yesterday, sampling.
Timbaland?
Timbaland, however you want to say it.
Timbaland?
The shoe guy?
Timbaland. Hey, shout out to Tim. No, we can't say that because they didn't give us a check yet. But there was a Twitter account by someone named Mariah. I may not have pronounced that right. Not sure who she is, but I quoted her in this article. They didn't give me any background on her, but she kicked off the chatter saying everyone knows Timbaland, a master of his craft. She captioned a post. Did you know 3 hits sampled these Arabic classics? And this started a whole spark of people putting up comments. Timbaland really stole, copy paste from Middle Eastern music, and I really thought this nigga was a genius. Wow. Let's see another one. Let me see if I'm following along. So people are trying to discredit Timbaland for sampling songs that became classic records in the 90s and 2000s, but they haven't a clue that most of today's songs sample records from the 90s and 2000s. It's a good one there. It says Twitter doesn't know what sampling is, and they're canceling actual Timbaland because of it. They put the dead emojis. So I couldn't, first thing that came to my mind when I saw this was, what is the age group of the people that are having this conversation? Because to me, even on the ground level, first day of college or first day of high school, 101, basic bottom level of hip hop, sampling has been happening. If you just start at the ground floor, sampling has been happening. And I don't know if this is drop the ball in our generation. I don't know if people are just they don't care about the culture that they get 1 million views in and the media immediately start putting music out in. I don't know what the hell is going on, but there's no reason for Timbaland to be getting dragged for sampling. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen on Twitter. I just throw it out to y'all, man. Like, what's happening here? Why are these types of conversations happening, man? Is it a generational thing? Did the OGs drop the ball? I'm confused because this is hip hop 101 to me, in my personal opinion. You got to know all these producers and songs that you've loved for years have been sampled. At some point, you have to know that. Or am I wrong? Jay Diff, talk to me, man. Because maybe I'm the old head and I'm hating, but this is 101 level shit to me.
Man, it should be common knowledge on a lot of this shit, man. It's damn stupidity at its finest, because anybody knows anything about hip hop knows that one of the this is, I wouldn't say it's an element, but it's definitely a source of the sound of hip hop is sampling, and it's been that since the very beginning. I'm feeling like some of these cats' parents maybe not have sat them down and explained to them this is how it's done and this is hip hop, and sometimes people borrow this and kind of use that to make the sound or whatnot. I don't know, man. It's mad weird to me. But the young lady that posted the video, I don't think she was posting the video to clown Timbaland or whatnot.
Not at all.
I think she was just showing
I don't
that
think so either.
These were the samples. And
well,
the other
she was showing where they were from.
Right. Yeah, that's all she was doing. And then the other people took it and ran with it like, I thought
that's when it got bad.
This shit up. But in the same token, the way he chopped it and did whatever he did to it is musicality in itself. I mean, and Timbaland has tracks where he ain't sampled shit, but like cricket noises and claps and
Talk to him.
So I mean, you can't take shit away from Timbaland from a producer point of view at all. Like I said, I think it has something to do with how these kids are raised and they're not listening with the right ears or something. I don't know.
Now let's not get it twisted though. Let's not get it twisted though.
I don't want to say it because I'm gonna be.
I'm gonna say it. We've definitely heard stories of Timbaland straight biting producers and not giving them credit for it.
Lone. Let's talk about it then. Let's talk about it then.
We have definitely heard this.
Talk about it.
I think maybe part that might be being left off a little bit. Now Timbaland's a legend. Let's get that straight from the jump. But there have been rumors of Timbaland doing the same exact thing that they were talking about today, but not giving credit. There's a Norwegian producer that came out years ago. I remember him talking about it. And another thing that's interesting is Timbaland's specific, like when people talk about Timbaland that know hip hop, your first instinct is to think, oh, Timbaland is the dope producer that doesn't sample. That's what people
initially
think about.
That is correct. That is correct.
That's the initial thing.
Correct.
So when people hear that, oh, Timbaland was actually listening to this Indian music that was really a market that was really highly untapped in hip hop, and he was taking these things, and granted, he was clearing the samples, I'm guessing, and he was replaying
and making them work well, though, I might add.
I mean, he had a song called Indian Flute.
Yeah,
so sample one of them songs.
But I guess what I'm saying is that like the stigma that I don't want this, or the nuance that gets left out is that there's definitely Timbaland's got this thing behind him that he's the guy that doesn't sample, right? And we all know that he has sampled, but he is that producer. Him, Pharrell being another person. You know, they don't need a sample to make hits. You know, it's a little bit different than the Premiers and the Kanye's and the Pete Rocks and, you know, and everything like that.
Hey, Dilla.
Yeah, which Dilla was original too, though. So
a lot of people don't know.
That's that part. I just wanted to kind of throw that in there. Jay, I'll let you kind of chime in because I have another part of this that I kind of want to talk about too. But
well, you know, it's stuff pops up ever so often on Twitter and in these social media conversations where they think they got somebody, like, oh, gotcha.
Right.
And it's like, look, man, look, I realize you guys do not buy CDs anymore, and that there aren't inserts that show you, you know, this song sampled by an interpolation by, like, so what you almost see is gotcha culture isn't anything that someone my age is tripping over, because we read the credits of actual albums that we went to the store to buy, and we saw where, you know, this was used under so-and-so license, or this was, a portion of this was played by. So I knew, you know, that the songs that Timbaland had sampled, because, you know, I knew people who would make break tapes of the stuff from popular records at the time, you know, so none of this is a surprise to me. But you know what, you know, you got a new generation of like 15-year-old weirdos who think they get on the internet and they just discovered something for the first time, and they're just like the Christopher Columbus of some of this shit. And
that's a bar right there. That's a bar right there.
That's a bar.
Credit.
That's a bar.
You know, and it's like, hello, you know, there was somebody here before you. It sort of reminds me, and this is sort of a stretch, but, you know, I remember a friend of mine was teaching when Street Fighter 4 came out on 360, Xbox 360 back in the day, and he was teaching math in this high school, and he said, okay, anybody that can beat me in Street Fighter 4, you don't have to take the final. And they're like, oh, what do you know about that, Mr. So-and-so? We gonna serve you in this. And he beat each and every one of them kids, and they all had to take the final. And he said, well, how do you know how to play this so well? You know, this is a new game because, and he said, this is Street Fighter 4. I've been playing this since it was Street Fighter 2 in the arcades, which you don't know nothing about because you've always played video games at home. You know, and that's kind of where we are with a lot of quote unquote young hip hop fans, is like they think when they discover something, despite the fact that it was Street Fighter 4, they in their minds it was the first Street Fighter ever released. And they're good at it. They don't realize the basic mechanics of this video game have been around for 20 to 25 years at this point. So of course somebody older is going to beat your ass at this game. So I think that's where we are with a lot of young hip hop fans who think they're really, really doing something when they discover samples. It was like, no, first of all, you're not even. First of all, if you thought you was doing that, you're snitching. Now you're not even snitching because once again, we read liner notes and you don't. So I just think it's just a lot of bullshit going on with younger people looking for clout and not understanding that you're not telling us anything that we don't know.
If you've enjoyed this segment of the New Old Heads podcast, make sure to check out our live show every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/newoldheads. And if you'd like to join our Discord community, do so by going to nohchat.com for talks on hip-hop, sports, music, news, and everything else.